Alright, so here's a video update on my van. It's August 25th, 2021. Current build progress or status. I still got a long way to go, but I've had a number of people asking me about it. So it's a 2014 Mercedes Sprinter, high roof, 170-inch wheelbase, cargo van, no windows. I got it from Ryder Fleet Services. It was a fleet lease. Since I've gotten it, I've done a number of things. We'll start from the outside. So technically it was badged as a Freightliner. I did the Mercedes grille and the emblems on the back. I've painted the wheels black. I put a roof rack on it and made it myself out of aluminum. I got two Max Fan deluxe fans up there. My friend Beth Derrickson helped me make these. Well, she did most of the work, almost all the work. She made these awesome window covers for the front. They're insulated and reflective. More about that in a bit. I wanted to build the roof rack so it was stealthy. As you can see, you can't see the solar panels. I've got 275 watt Renogy panels right there. The forward Max Fan is there. The rearward Max Fan is there. So I wanted to build a roof rack that was stealthy and hid this, so the van doesn't stand out as a camper or adventure van. Coming around to the back here, I guess I'll open up the back, show you the storage area. The roof rack is not completely done. I have to build a rooftop deck. Not sure if I'm going to use composite decking or something else, but I will have a 7.5 foot long rooftop deck from the back of the van to the solar panels, where I can stand up there, take photos, put a folding chair, crack a beer, watch a sunset or whatever. Alright, so on the back here, let's open this up. I just got back yesterday from about 6,000 mile trip from Delaware to Colorado, and then on the return trip I went down into Arkansas, did some mountain biking, and then up to Springfield, Missouri, did some adventure bike riding with a buddy of mine. So here we go. I've only taken out some of my clothes and a couple things. Other than that, it's still dirty and whatnot. So I built this van so that I could carry two motorcycles and a mountain bike and have a bed over top of it. I didn't want to have to unload anything in order to sleep on my way to my destination. Once I get there, I can take the motorcycle out, and then the bed folds down, and that's a queen size memory foam mattress. 80 inches long, 60 inches wide. The bed's mounted on these horizontal rails, which are then bolted into this vertical E-track you see here. And I have three positions, height positions. I can adjust the bed. I can go up another 4 inches. It's in its middle position now. I can go down another 4 inches. So if I was only carrying mountain bikes, you can see I have a decent amount of room here. If I was only carrying mountain bikes, I could lower the bed down and get more height so I can sit up in bed. Currently, I cannot sit up in bed, but there's still a decent amount of room, and I think the trade-off is well worth it. So that's my KTM 990. Currently, I have my giant Trance e-bike mounted in the center. And on this trip, I did not bring my 300 XC Enduro bike, but it would go here. You can see my toolbox. Soon, very soon, I will have a 23-gallon water tank mounted over top of this wheel well. Ahead of that will be a sink and my water pump. On the left side here, I needed to make as much room for the adventure bike as possible, so you just see I have my fire extinguisher and then my third bed panel, which would again sit on these rails, very much like a Moab bed system, if you're familiar with those. It's a $3,000 bed system. Mine is not aluminum, and it's not quite as adjustable, but I probably have $150 in materials, and I did all my own welding. The flooring here, over top of the factory metal cargo van floor, I have about a ½ inch of polyiso foam insulation, foam board insulation. That's 3/4 inch sanded plywood, topped with gray coin grip vinyl flooring from Home Depot, and then I have 3 8-foot rails of E-track screwed down to the 3/4 inch plywood. All of it's held in place by the factory Sprinter D-rings. I think there's 12 of them, and they go straight down to the chassis. The wall panels from the floor up to about 2.5 feet is 3/8 plywood, covered again with a gray coin grip plywood. Another, depending on the side of the van, another 9 feet or so of E-track on this side, and then I've got a full length 14-foot run of E-track on that side. From there to the ceiling, I have 1/4 inch plywood covered with white fiberglass board, or FRP, and then up to the ceiling, which is unfinished. You'll see more of that in a minute. It's 1.5 inch foam board, and then I will be trimming it out with cedar tongue and groove and probably 10 LED recessed puck lights. The insulation on the walls here, starting at the ceiling, there's a upper bay. It's about that high. It runs the full length of the van. That is stuffed with, what do you call it? Rock wool, mineral wool. It's a moisture resistant, fire resistant insulation. The middle bay, which is the largest, it runs basically from here up to about there. That's 1.5 to 2 inches thick of foam board, and then from this level here to the bottom is again more rock wool. So let's go ahead and go inside. So again, I just got home from Colorado last night. I've only unloaded my clothes. It's kind of dirty in here. I took an Amazon bug screen here, trimmed it out, stapled it, put it in here. Excuse the blue painter's tape. That is electrical wiring I have not run yet, but and my cabinets are not finished. This is just temporary. I built out the steel frame that you see here. It's 1 inch 16 gauge steel, welded and painted. I will eventually skin this with finished grade plywood and paint it, and I'll have a real countertop on here. But this is the front. I've got dual swivel seats. Again, you can see the really nice window covers that Beth Derrickson made. They are Reflectix on the outside. They have a layer of fleece in the middle, and then, believe it or not, that's just a Harbor Freight moving blanket on the inside. And they're reversible. They're held in place with magnets on the side windows, and then I have curtain rods and my what do you call it, the sun visors hold in place in the front. Dual swivel seats. The driver's seat also functions as a desk. Right now I only have my laptop here, but I will have a full-size monitor mounted on a swivel on the wall. Let me go ahead and sit down here. Again, I have not connected my solar, but it'll run down to my battery bank and inverter and whatnot down below. And I have not trimmed out the cabinet. I do have my refrigerator in there. Works awesome. That's a 206 amp hour SOK battery. That's a 1000 continuous watt inverter and charger, so I can charge off shore power. Under the driver's seat, you can't see it, I have a Renogy 40 amp DC to DC charger, so the alternator of the van is currently charging the batteries. Up top here, I have not built my upper cabinets, but I will have roughly a 10-foot long upper cabinet on this side and a 4-foot cabinet on this side to store whatnot, whatever it may be, riding gear, mountain bike gear, clothes, and so be it. On the floor, like you see on the driver's side, on the floor I will have a 4-foot long cabinet in this area here, coming out to this step. That will house my sink and possibly a slide out porta potty. I'm not really sure. The ceiling, again, is not done. You can see some of the polyiso foam board, or maybe it's XPS, I forget, but it's the one that's closed cell, moisture resistant. This is my forward facing max fan. They each, and then the rear one is back there. Each are 10 speed, and they're reversible, so I can set one on exhaust fan and one pulling air in, and it's really nice because it'll pull cool air in the evenings over top of the bed, or vice versa. If you're cooking here, it'll exhaust the fan, exhaust the steam and smell and whatnot out of the van. Looking at the bed again here. So let me crouch down here, see if you can look at it. That's the frame. Again, there are 3 panels, very much like the Moab bed system. On this side of the bed frame, there's a slip joint. So you can see how I have roughly like 6 inches or so of movement there because the walls of the van are tapered. Again, the E-track mounted on the walls. That also accommodates this aluminum load shoring beam that tractor trailers use. And on it, I've mounted a Harbor Freight wireless winch, and I custom fabbed this mount so that I can loosen these wing nuts and I can move the position of the winch wherever I may be it, wherever I need it, so I can winch in the adventure bike or my 300cc enduro bike backwards. I can easily take the bed out and the bikes can be loaded normal, but like I said, I want to be able to travel from Delaware to North Carolina or Florida or Colorado or wherever it may be, and I want to be able to sleep in the van without unloading a single thing. And so it works perfectly, just as I hoped it would. I can roll into a rest stop at 1 o'clock in the morning, shut the van off, and easily step right up in the bed. And in this configuration, yes, I cannot sleep perfectly lengthwise, but again, the mattress is 80 by 60, and in this configuration, I'm 5'10" and a half, and I can sleep diagonally, no problem at all. Traveling solo, no big deal. It works really, really, really well. Super comfortable. The other day, I actually fell asleep way longer than expected, and I slept 9 hours in a rest stop in Ohio. My alarm didn't go off. So I guess that's about, oh wait, I have a 2 kilowatt diesel heater under the passenger seat, and that's controlled via this controller on the wall here. That siphons fuel automatically from the diesel tank that the van operates from. The electrical, let's take a look at this real quick again. This is real simple. I mean, I just knocked this out real quick in time for this trip. Again, I've got my battery, master disconnect switch. I've got a breaker down below that. That's a breaker for the DC to DC charger from the van's alternator. I've got a master fuse to protect the battery. You can see my positive and negative bus bars there. I have a 12 volt DC panel there. I still may put in a combination 12 volt DC 110 AC panel. We'll see. But looking at the blue painter's tape here, I mentioned before how I'm going to have a 10-foot long cabinet running across here. The very forward edge of this cabinet will be paneled. They will have a forward panel on it, and on that I'm going to mount my Renogy solar charge controller. I'm going to mount the main component for my WeBoost cellular antenna, the main component or the Wi-Fi antenna for my Camp Pro 2 Wi-Fi antenna, and then I'll have some sort of LCD display for the shunt on my battery to display battery status, state of charge, and whatnot. I haven't built it yet, but there will be a storage compartment over top of the driver and passenger seat to make use of this wasted space. And again, on the passenger side here, I will have a 4-foot countertop with a sink. I'll have AC and DC outlets mounted on this face here. along with AC, DC outlets mounted here from my computer, my laptop, charging phone, running a blender, whatever it may be. And then all the way in the back of the van, probably on the driver's side wall, there will be another AC, DC outlet. That way, if I'm camping and whatnot, I can plug in whatever I need to. Plus, that'll be where my shore power plug will be. Again, the water tank will be mounted over the passenger side wheel well, and that will be flush with the wheel well, so that way I'll still have room to back in or load in my dirt bike. And I'll have a 4-foot cabinet, a short 4-foot cabinet on this wall, overhead cabinet on this wall. So I guess that's about it. Oh, I know what I wanted. I wanted to show off these window covers again real quick that my friend Beth made. So let me pull one of these out. They're held in with magnets, real easy. I'll just toss this on the ground here. So they're reversible. And you can see this side has the Reflectix on it. So in the summertime, I'll keep that out to keep the, reflecting the light and the heat outside the van. But in the wintertime, I can turn it around. Or at nighttime, I can make it so that the black side is out. And I can tell you, I've used them a few times now. They work awesome. Plus, at night, it's so cool because, let's see if I hold it up. If I hold it up at nighttime, it just looks black. Nobody can see inside the van. I can have all my lights on inside, and no light escapes from the inside to the outside. So yeah, there you go. That's my current van status. I still got a lot to do, but on the 6,000 mile trip, it did great. At 70 miles an hour with everything in the van, I continuously got darn near 21 miles per gallon hand calculated. That was like 21.3 to 21.78, I think. It's so comfortable to drive. It's an awesome machine. Awesome road trip machine. So more to come as I get more work done, but that's it for now. Bye.